Welcome to Kinshasa today. You know, it feels like everyone's been buzzing about this lately.
Oh, yeah.
Orange RDC laying the first stone for their huge new headquarters right here in Kinshasa.
Big news for the city.
Absolutely. This is episode 042, and we're going beyond just the headlines today. We want to really dig into what this actually means.
What it means for tech here, the economy, for us.
Exactly. We've been looking at reports from places like MediaCongo.net, Actualite.cd, the big DRC news sites.
Right, trying to piece together the full picture. And our goal, really, in this deep dive is to unpack the why behind this new building.
Why now? What's Orange thinking? How does it impact their staff and, well, Kinshasa overall?
That's the plan.
Okay, let's jump in. The ceremony itself. It wasn't just a quiet groundbreaking, was it?
No, definitely not. The sources make it sound like quite the event. It was Wednesday, April 16th, 2025.
Okay.
And you had some major figures there. Ben Haidara, he's the Director General of Orange RDC. And importantly, Augustin Kibasa, the Minister of Posts, Telecoms, and Digital Tech, PTN.
Having the minister there certainly sends a signal, doesn't it? About how important this is seen.
It really does. Shows the government's focus on, the digital side of things.
And that moment, laying the first stone, the symbolism felt pretty strong in the reports.
It was more than just kicking off construction. Mr. Haidara himself, I think the quote was, much more than just a symbolic act. He framed it as representing Orange's drive for, excellence and innovation in everything they do. It's a statement.
Okay, so it's a statement. But let's get into the motivations. Why are they actually building this massive new place? What did Mr. Haidara say?
Well, a big part seems to be about their own team, their personnel.
Their employees.
Exactly. He mentioned it stems from a concern for the well-being of their staff. That seemed pretty central.
Okay, that makes sense. Happy staff, better company.
Pretty much. He also talked about deepening their local roots, their connection here in Congo, and standing alongside the Congolese people.
So reinforcing their presence.
Yes. And he made a point of saying this is a first for a mobile operator here in the DRC.
A first? In what way? Owning their own HQ?
Exactly. Owning their own dedicated headquarters building like this. He said it highlights their long-term investment and their desire for a really optimal work environment.
So it's not just bricks and mortar. It's about the company's image and maybe its values too.
Definitely. Haidara said the new HQ should embody Orange's values. Attention, responsibility, and audacity. Boldness.
Audacity. Interesting choice of word.
Yeah. And on a practical level, it's about improving things from their old place in Gombe. Better working conditions, better space to welcome customers.
Right, the practical side matters too. Did he talk about broader ambitions for this space?
He did. He painted this picture of it being a hub, a place for new ideas, contributing to a better future for everyone.
Nice vision.
And he also gave a shout out to the employees and the union reps, acknowledging their role in Orange's success and changes over the years. Always good to hear management acknowledging the team.
True. Okay, let's switch gears slightly. What about the government's view? Minister Kibasa, what was his reaction?
He sounded genuinely pleased, expressed his honor and pride about it happening in Kinshasa.
Okay.
And he called it a decisive step, a really crucial move for the whole telecom sector and ICT development in the DRC.
So he sees it as a big leap forward for the country's digital future.
Precisely. And he didn't shy away from the economic side either.
The taxes.
You guessed it. He acknowledged Orange RDC's, quote, significant contribution to the tax base and thanked them for it.
Well, that's part of the deal with big investments.
It is. He stressed that Orange is a major player in the country's digital transformation, and this building shows their trust in the DRC's potential.
And did he also mention the first aspect, like Haidara did?
He did, yeah. He echoed that point, first HQ owned by a mobile operator here. He underlined why that's significant for, tech development in the country. Seems like a key talking point for both sides.
Okay, clear message there. So we know the why, we know the who. Let's talk about the building itself. Where is it going up?
It's on Avenue des Huilleries.
Oh, right near the stadium.
Exactly, opposite the Martyrs Stadium. And it's right next to the Orange Digital Center that's already there.
That's interesting positioning. That whole area could really change with this kind of anchor.
Yeah, it's becoming quite a hub. This could definitely boost the area's profile, maybe even property values down the line.
And size-wise. Sounded pretty bad.
Oh, it is. Over 10,000 square meters.
Wow.
And designed for about 600 employees. Structurally, it's ground floor plus 8 stories. One source even mentioned maybe a rooftop area and a basement. It'll be noticeable.
8 stories plus ground floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a significant structure.
Yeah.
And when do they expect it to be finished?
The construction itself is estimated at around 18 months.
Oh, good.
So they're aiming for an inauguration sometime in 2027. It's a big project, but not, decades away.
2027. Okay. So inside, what's it going to be like? You mentioned employee well-being and innovation. What features support that?
This is where it gets quite detailed and I think quite revealing about their approach. The design is meant to be modern, functional. They're planning a mix of private offices, 18 of those, and then 13 open plan spaces.
Okay.
But get this, 73 meeting rooms.
73. Serious.
73. That really jumps out, doesn't it? Suggests a huge emphasis on collaboration, teamwork, getting people talking.
No kidding. That's a lot of meeting space.
Yeah.
What else stood out?
Well, things that directly support the staff. There's going to be a crèche, a daycare facility.
Oh, that's fantastic for parents.
Huge benefit. Also an infirmary, for basic medical needs on site, a recording studio, presumably for marketing and content.
Makes sense.
And then spaces for unwinding, a relaxation room, a gym. One report even called it a panoramic gym.
With a view. Nice perk.
Right. They've also thought about drivers, a restroom for them, plus archive space, a dedicated training room, and parking for 130 cars. Oh, and a restaurant seating 100 people.
It sounds like they're really trying to create a whole self-contained supportive environment. Like you barely need to leave.
Kind of feels that way, doesn't it? A lot of thought seems to have gone into the employee experience.
And it's not just about the people inside, right? There was mention of sustainability, too.
Yes, definitely. They're highlighting that the design is modern and sustainable.
How so?
Well, a big one is solar power. They're aiming for 25% of the building's electricity to come from solar panels on site.
25%? That's quite significant.
It is, and the design uses a central atrium to maximize natural light, reducing the need for artificial lights. Plus, they're incorporating natural ventilation, boosted by mechanical systems, for better air quality.
So, thinking green too. Good to see. Okay, let's zoom out a bit. What are the wider implications of this whole project for Kinshasa, for the DRC?
Well, one point that came up, mentioned by the French ambassador, actually, Remy Marichaux, is that it's a major vote of confidence in the DRC's future. An investment this big signals belief in the country's stability and economic prospects.
That's a powerful message to send internationally.
Absolutely. And it reinforces Orange's own long-term commitment here. They talk about serving the Congolese people, creating jobs, and the numbers are pretty staggering.
What kind of numbers?
They claim involvement in about 131,000 direct jobs and another 169,000 indirect ones across the country.
Wow, that's a massive economic footprint.
Yeah.
They've been here a while now, haven't they?
Yeah, nearly 12 years. And they often talk about their commitment to digital inclusion and social inclusion. This HQ feels like the next logical step in that long relationship.
And they do more than just cell phone plans, right? I remember hearing about their other initiatives.
That's right. You've got the Orange Digital Centers and the Orange Clubs.
Where are those?
In Kinshasa, Lubumbashi, Matadi, Kananga. They offer free digital skills training, especially for young people. Apparently, they've trained over 7,000 youth already.
7,000. That's a real investment in skills.
It is. And they also support local startups through their Social Venture Prize for Africa and the Middle East. Congolese entrepreneurs have benefited from that.
So they're really embedding themselves in different parts of the economy and society.
Seems like it. They position themselves as a multi-service operator, mobile, sure, but also fiber internet, energy solutions, Orange Money.
Right, Orange Money is huge.
It is. Plus, they have that ISO quality certification. And the reach is significant, over 15 million subscribers, they say, and pretty wide 4G coverage, over 90%. It all adds up to a major role in the country's socio-economic fabric.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. What's the main takeaway here? This new HQ is clearly a big deal for Orange.
It's huge for them, yes. A massive, tangible investment right here in Kinshasa. It shouts long-term commitment.
And it highlights their focus on their people, on innovation.
Exactly, and their continued role in the whole digital transformation story of the DRC.
And for Kinshasa itself, it feels like another marker of our city's growth, particularly in the tech space. Potential for more economic activity.
For sure. Big investments like this can have a real pull effect, attracting other businesses, maybe more talent. It builds momentum.
It really does. Which leads to a final thought, maybe something for all of us here in Kinshasa to ponder.
Okay.
Looking at this big move by Orange, What other kinds of bold investments, what other developments do we really need to see happening to solidify Kinshasa's position, to make us not just a player, but a real leader in tech and innovation on the continent? What's the next big step we need?
That's a great question to leave things on. What else is needed?
Definitely something to think about. Well, that concludes our deep dive on the new Orange RDC headquarters. Thanks for joining us on Kinshasa today.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll catch you on the next episode.